A fire at the Little Ponderosa Zoo in Clinton turned deadly this afternoon. Officials with the Anderson County Sheriff's Office confirmed that several animals died when a barn caught fire.
My whole life is gold. I feel like that what I work for is gold.
Well, us girls were getting ready to go into the party room and eat lunch, and I just happened to glance over in the petting zoo and I saw whiffs of smoke, and I was like, what in the world? And I ran in the barn and looked, and at the very top at the end of the barn there was a line of flames. I was like, oh my goodness. And I yelled at the boys. We grabbed all the fire extinguishers we could find. I yelled at one of the girls to call 911. They put out the fire and it seemed like it was out, and then all of a sudden you just heard this whoosh from the ceiling, and there was no, from that point there was just no time, 6 to 10 seconds max. None of the animals would run out. Their doors were wide open. They'd either run and hide in their den or they would just run in circles. James is the director, and if he had been there that day, he would have also died. You know, he would have kept working. He would have jumped in the flames and gotten whatever out. I have no doubt he would have died.
I want to bring up the person who knows more than anyone else about all of this to speak to you, James.
We got a long ways to go, but we came a long ways. I can remember the day after the fire, how bad it was, how I stood here at 3:30 in the morning. It's terrible, heartbroken, but we were able to pull through and get where we're at today, and for that I'm grateful and thankful, and I thank you for being there to help us in our time of need, okay? Thank you so much.
James and his dad and a guy that helps us build, Kyle, that helps us build everything, they built that original barn together, and his dad's gone now. We did save a lot, but there was a lot we lost. And you rack yourself with guilt. I couldn't sleep for, weeks. I just saw their little faces, but now that I've had some time, I've talked to the fire marshal, the fire department, different people that have been in the same situation as me. I can say with all, with my whole heart that we all did the best we could given the circumstances. I can truly say that. Everything was dark and so full of smoke. Everybody was getting like lightheaded and couldn't breathe. But I remember, just calling my mom crying hysterically. And I remember having to call James and tell him what was going on. And for some reason, when your mind is in that panic state, you don't think correctly. But the first thing I said to him is, where's the fire trucks? Instead of telling him the zoo was on fire. Every October, we always had a fire plan because we were bringing so many animals in. But the reality was nothing like that. And we were trying to work on getting everything closest to the fire. By the time I ran around the other side, it was gone. And the whole barn was gone pretty much by the time the fire trucks rolled in. It was that quick. It was just a devastating, and still is devastating. I've been with a lot of those animals 13 or 14 years, and I was closely bonded with them. And it's like losing your children, and people don't understand that. People understand the grief of losing one pet, but imagine having, 50 some and that you love dearly. It's just overwhelming. Good can come out of bad. This new building is going to be incredible. It's going to be a much more efficient use of space, and it's going to be built specifically for the rescue animals. The original barn was awesome. We gradually added, over 28 years, we gradually added to it, but it was a lot of wasted space, and it was originally built as a barn. This will not be. It is built specifically for these exotic animals and for the rescue. It'll have a vet lab, and it'll have so many cool features. Within an hour of the fire, there were people immediately that started rushing in with food and supplies for the animals. And knowing now that we had no running water or anything, it's like they were just awesome and just whatever we needed. There was a lot of stuff now we're having to replace, of course they wouldn't have foreseen, but it's incredible. I said it's because of them that we're able to move forward. We did have insurance. The biggest thing though was the cost of supplies and building materials 28 years ago has quadrupled since. And to be honest, insurance for zoos is extremely high, and with us being a rescue and a nonprofit, we only had certain insurance that we could afford. But yes, it did supply some, and we also got a lot of donations from the community and public. A lot of that has had to go back into replacing everything. I mean, virtually everything. And then even for the winter, keeping everything going. Like when we had the cold spell back in January, 1 week of keeping the area that we had warm was about $2,800. It's a massive project. And to give you some perspective, we probably lost about $3 million value in the old building. And we now probably have $380,000 to work with. Their feelings of being scared, we were all scared to death, but the terror, the confusion, and being scared, they all reflected those same feelings. All of our employees and the director, James Cox, and everybody, has a strength and a character that's come out of this, where they've risen above the ashes, both figuratively and literally. And we just have so much gratitude and just thankful to everyone for their love and their interest and their support through all this. And we hope to continue to be able to give back as we've done for so many years behind. And at this point, it's just looking forward, being bright and positive, and growing stronger, against adversity. I remember when I first came here, it was all horse stables and pony stalls. I've actually got to see it grow as a zoo. And him even more so, because he built it with his own hands, and his boys were right there when it was first built. And what you do, and like I said, the first month or so, we were in a dark hole, and I think what kept us going was the love of the community, that, just having all these people just pour their love on us, and the animals that survived and that we continue to get as rescues. I think that's what keeps us going, and just the sheer willpower of the community wanting us to rebuild, saying, you gave so much back to us, please be here for us because we need you. And I think that's what's really kept us going. And in that situation, you have to look forward. You can't look back, or it will just overwhelm you with sorrow. I know that, that fire was Monday. The Wednesday of that same week after the fire, people were rolling in and out and bringing us food and items for the animals. Somebody dropped off a cardboard box and drove off. Well, I went over there to get it, expecting it to be maybe animal food. Opened it up, and there was a half-starved guinea pig in it. And that was the first official rescue animal that we got after the fire. And I was like, this is why we're here, because that guinea pig probably would have died otherwise. And I still have her. She's fat and sassy now, and she's just kind of that symbol of hope.
I got an email, I guess it was December 6th or 7th, from Melissa, and it was on a Saturday. I remember reading it on a Saturday, and it didn't take me more than 30 seconds to respond that we would help and do whatever needed to be done to help the little Ponderosa get back up on their feet. So I think from a horrific tragedy has come great hope.